Looking for a way to passive-aggressively punish your players, or just have some fun in your TTRPG games? Here's some both useless and funny items the next time they commit unspeakable treason in your games. These magical weapons and armor are sure to really mess your players up, whether it's in hardcore combat or you're on a stealthy mission. Arrow returning. This arrow always returns to its center before reaching its target, making it the only arrow to ever miss before it even has a chance to hit, leaving the target in relief and your players in confusion. Sword of Radiant Heat induces an uncomfortable warmth from the handle, making the wielder's hands sweat as if they were in a hot summer heat wave, or they just have really moist hands. Any action with the sword requires a dexterity check with a DC of 15 in order to keep a hold of it. This sword has a -2 to hit, but a +1 to damage. Sword of Foresight warns its wielder of an approaching danger, but only if the wielder is already aware of it. The sword emits an eerie, high-pitched sound that lasts for over a minute, but only the wielder can hear it. Sword of 1,000 Woes. Unsheathing the sword triggers screams and howls of pain that will not cease until it's put back in its sheath. The cry is loud enough to be heard for almost a mile, but not so loud to damage ears. Helm of Encouragement. This helmet casually but critically critiques the wearer's flaws and how they handle situations. But when challenges arrive, it gives them the utmost encouragement. When the challenge ends, the helmet then critiques the wearer on how they could have handled the situation better, even if there is nothing to critique. Anti-damage armor has absolute defense against all damage, but disappears when threatened, leaving the wearer exposed to take all the damage. This specific armor baffles many appraisers and requires a wisdom DC check of 15 or better to know if it prevents damage to the player and armor, or to just the armor. Sword of Vicious Mockery. This outspoken sword communicates exclusively through insults, casting vicious mockery on whomever it's talking to. A way you can make this interesting is if you make the sword know some valuable information that they give in bite-sized pieces, so the players will have to talk to it. Wand of Pointing. It forces you to point at whatever you are currently looking at. That's it. It just makes you point. Give your merchants a little bit more charm by adding these items to their wares, or make an appraiser mistakenly think it's powerful. Ring of Invisibility. Turns your finger invisible, but the rest of you stays visible. You may be able to flip the bird without people realizing, or convince people that you lost your finger in a shark fight. Ring of Teleportation. A ring that teleports to the wanted location but leaves the wearer behind. This ring cannot teleport anything but itself, so anything tied or attached to it will be left behind. Ring of Fire Detection. Glows red when you put it into fire or magma. This ring must be worn to use this effect. Cursed Ring of Perpetual Post-Sneeze. Makes the wearer feel like they're about to sneeze at random moments in time. You cannot take this wearer off for 72 hours after you put it on. Ring of Announced Presence. With great fanfare and as loud as it can, this ring announces your presence as you enter a room with gurgling screams similar to that of a goat. While putting this item on, it will ask you what you wish to be called by name and title. It will make one up for you if you do not choose a name and a title. Wishing Ring. This polished stone ring grants the wielder a single wish, but is cursed to give the wearer an insatiable compulsion to wish that the ring wasn't so ugly. It will then cast an illusion on itself to make it look like it is made of precious metals and stones. The wisher is the only one who can see this illusion. Ring of Detection. Activates when you touch what you want to detect, but will only tell you what you already know about the object. If you're into giving players very obviously useless items and would like to see how they'd use them to their advantage, I have some items that you might be interested in. Blindfold of Darkvision. This gives you 120 feet of dark vision, but only if you're wearing it over your eyes. Compass of Magic Detection. Detects the nearest magical item to it itself. Immovable Gem. Completely immovable. You cannot pick up this item or anything it is placed upon. The Priceless Idol, a 30-pound golden statuette adorned with gems worth millions. Cursed so that whenever the wielder tries to sell it, the buyer refuses, convinced they can't afford it, rejecting low offers. Bag of Infinite Pebbles. You must take the pebbles out of the bag one by one, and when it's flipped inside out, it does nothing. You cannot put anything else inside the bag other than more pebbles. Anything else attempted to be put in the bag will act as if there is a barrier between the item and the entrance of the bag. Stone of Healing. Heals 1d4 worth of damage to whomever it is thrown at. When it is thrown, deals 1d4 bludgeoning damage before it heals. Bag of Cat Hair. Holds as much as a normal handbag, but anything pulled out of it is covered in cat hair. Coal of Regret. Anyone who holds this piece of coal feels bad about their decisions. Heels of Action. As an action, touch your heels together to gain an action. Do all sorts of fun things in your world with these items, and let me know how you mess with your players. If you like this video, click right here. It's either very informative or a little weird.